Well, I'm joined, we know that the first ship behind me has already had medics on board. We know that one pregnant woman has had to be taken to hospital, and we're still waiting for the Aquarius to dock in the next few minutes. I'm actually joined by Karlin Kleijer from Médecins Sans Frontières. She's the operational manager for search and rescue operations. Karlin, what do we know about the conditions of those passengers who were travelling on board the Aquarius? I understand they're some of the most vulnerable passengers.
Yeah, what we did when the Italian Coast Guard asked us to transfer the 500 people is that we kept the most vulnerable as much as possible on the Aquarius. So the majority of the pregnant women, the children, the minors, the people who were sick, the people who were injured, the majority of them are still on board of the Aquarius.
They've obviously had to spend an extra week, more than a week, at sea because the Italian authorities wouldn't let them dock there. Has that really worsened some of their conditions? How have you been able to cope with that?
Well, what it for sure did is it was extending their suffering. And people have been in the water. We had to bring some people back to life. People drowned. We lost 2 people in that horrible rescue at night. People had injuries of chemical burns. And they had to stay for a week on that ship. It's like you have a car accident, they refuse to be brought to a hospital. So people had to stay a week. A lot of them got very seasick because we had rough weather on the way. But I must say today they're actually quite excited and people are really happy that they're going to a port and that they will be disembarking.
Tell us about where they've come from and why they were trying to get to Europe. What was their situation?
Well, the situation of these migrants and refugees, people looking for asylum, is very complicated. There's many different stories. Some people are just fleeing poverty and are looking for a better life in Europe. But a lot of them actually are looking for asylum. They're looking for international protection. And a big majority of them didn't see the horrible situations you're faced with in Libya. So a lot of them simply wanted to escape Libya. We had people on the ship who said, if you bring us back to Libya, we go back into the sea because we'd rather die at sea than die in Libya.
And what will happen next to these passengers once they are processed and go through the Spanish system?
Well, of course, that's up to the Spanish government. We hope that those people who are looking for international protection, for refugee status, are allowed to apply for that. That's their right. And for the remaining people, it's up to the government of Spain to decide where these people will be going.
Do you think what the Spanish government has done by accepting this ship will change European Union policy?
Well, I would hope so. I think the Spanish government took a brave decision and the right decision, a decision which puts lives before politics. And we can only hope that that continues to be, that we're not using search and rescue, we're not using saving lives at sea as a political tool, because that's unacceptable.
Well, thank you very much for joining us and for talking us through that.